Hello, beloved. I thank you so much for your time and I thank you for joining me on the Prophetic Vessel Show. This will be your message from God, Ra, Allah, Source, the Divine. I'm grateful for your time. To those whom are keen or interested in becoming members of my Patreon, on my Patreon, I do offer weekly sign readings for $10 per month based on love as well as spiritual path. I also offer on my Patreon personal readings for $50 per month. Wait, the weekly signs, it's ancestral lineage readings, not the spiritual path readings, okay? Substitute what I said with ancestral lineage readings, okay? So I also offer on my Patreon personal readings for $50 per month. You get a personal reading from me every month based on love, spiritual path, career, and finances, as well as ancestral messages. I also offer one-on-one sessions slash life coach sessions, which will be once off and not monthly. You can only book me for those directly via my email, which will be listed in my description box below, as well as the link to my Patreon. If you'd rather join my Patreon instead, you can also join my Patreon by typing what is on the screen via Google, search it, and it'll lead you to my Patreon website. Without further ado, let us tap in and find out, why were you spiritually led here? What is here for you, beloved? Why did you resonate with the title? And why did your own YouTube algorithm present you with this message? Let us tap in and talk to God, okay? So, I'm being called to speak on the ancient times, back in the medieval times when women were held captive, right, by someone of a higher position than them, right? Back in the medieval times, in the ancient times, it was very common for a woman, whether married or in any sort of contract with a man, it was always the man above the woman. Okay, it was always the man above the woman. So I'm being drawn to those times back then, right? And the energy I'm channeling from that is that your ancestors are saying history won't repeat itself, because there is a masculine energy in your life, in your reality, in your world. This masculine energy, he seeks to enslave you, right? You just won't be working in a plantation and picking cotton, but he seeks to enslave you within your heart, your mind, your spirit, and your body. This is a man whose only mission at this time in his life is to own you, okay? So the kind of man you're dealing with is a man based on a creature, animalistic type of man, okay? We have the Nine of Swords. So with the Nine of Swords here, I am seeing that, this man comes from a long lineage of other men that have, in their own life, reality, and world, when they were on earth, when they walked their journey of life and their path of life, this man comes from a lineage of men who, when they were living, they also walked the same path. They owned a woman, right? It's like they owned a woman. So this man, yeah, they're a man who walks with those ancestors, because that's the same path that they're on as well. So these ancestors are also trying to assist this masculine energy, this man, to give him the power that he needs to own you, own your mind, your heart, your spirit, and body. It's like this is a spiritual battle, okay, that you're under at this time, because you have a man that's insatiable, completely hungry, and utterly a creature, an animal, who seeks to possess you entirely. Like this man just wants his way. Let's tap in further to the energy. It's not about you being his wife or turned into a wife. It's not about you being a homebody or staying at home and, covering your body and being submissive and, being a kind, compassionate woman. No, it's like ownership. Let's look at the word ownership, okay? Anything that is owned belongs to a specific person, and therefore whatever is owned can be looked at as property, right? Possession, right? So when I say this man wants to own you, think of it in that context. This is not a man who's keen or eager or interested in any feelings and thoughts of love. He doesn't care. This man is concerned about getting his way, right? And back to it being based on a spiritual attack. This man sees that you're a woman who's very dominant in who she is as a woman, or who you are as a woman, right? You are a breed, a archetype, a kind of a woman whom this man doesn't understand. This man, I see, he doesn't understand you. He's tried always to figure you out by studying, observing, watching, stalking you, however way, and he still hasn't been able to figure you out. It's almost like this, this pisses him off. Yeah, it makes him upset, it makes him mad, angry, volatile, almost crazy, right? I just heard one of one. So audiently, I just heard one of one. So if you think about it, this man's DNA is tied to the very same ancestors who also had the same genetics, because it's based on bloodline, ancestry, lineage. This man, his forefathers, right, those that walked this path before him, they were also in the energy of wanting to own a person, another person, right? In specific, a woman. So it's in his blood, it's in his DNA, it's in his genetics, that desire, right? It's not just tied to the things of the world or his own heart and mind. It's more so, it runs deeper than that, right? And the way he wants you, it's deeper than just attraction or crush or girlfriend or wife. It runs, it's like it runs deeper than that. So those very same ancestors are walking with him at this time, right? So this man's willpower to want you the way he does, it's not just him that wants you. That's why he's so resilient and almost crazy about it. Insanity, right? Insatiability, just pure desire. This man's not willing to take no for an answer, and that's where he can get dangerous, a menace, a hazard. He's not willing to accept that you don't want him or you don't want to be with him. Because all that is on his mind, in his heart, and all that is within his spirit and body is that same archetype and breed of a man who only cares about himself, right? Like, this man could care less about the fact that you don't want him, or you have this going on, or he's not your type, or whatever you see of this man that you don't want anything to do with. He's not willing to accept that. The key word, he's not willing. He doesn't want to, simply put. And he feels like you're fighting him, right? Yeah, this man feels like you're fighting him, right? And at this time, he's deeply in his ego. There is no love tied to this. It's all purely ego, okay? This man wants to claim you in the world, your life, your reality, and his own as well. His life, his world, his reality. He wants to claim you. He wants, when your name is spoken, it's his name first that comes up. He wants, when you think of anything that you want to do in your life, you must think of him first. He wants, when you do anything in your life, you must get permission from him first. It's like master to the slave type energy. He has that sort of mentality. He carries it almost like a crown. He's not concerned about nurturing you, loving you, healing you, being the version of himself that will make this relationship prosperous. This is not a man who's built like that. This is an animalistic creature of a man, and his breed and archetype of identity is solely based on selfishness and ego. Ego is selfishness. So this man here has been trying to do his own research about you, observing you, watching you, stalking you, okay? And as he continues to do so, he just keeps falling more and more in love with the idea of owning you. Which tells me that this man is deep in a rabbit hole right now. One which he doesn't see a way out of, because he's not even willing to accept that you and him won't be together. This is a man that, like, he wouldn't understand where you're coming from either way, even if you try and explain why you don't want him. With the star reversed, he's not willing to understand where you're coming from, what your perspective is, what your understanding is, and how you feel and what you think. It means nothing to him. This man is only concerned about having you to himself and you being obedient to his ownership over you. It's like he wants you to accept that you are his possession. You dealing with the predatory energy of a man here. He's a very predatory spirit. If you think about it, predatory energy, predators hunt, they prey, right? They hunt, they prey. Prey, they hunt, they prey. Not prayer, no, they hunt their prey, right? They seek to hunt whatever it is that they're targeting, simply put, okay? For their own insatiable needs, insatiable desires, for their own insatiable ego, insatiable craving to experience you the way they want. There's something about the type of woman that you are. It's like you are the type, the archetype, the breed of a woman that's the kind of woman that's in her power. So you're not driven by a man, whether that's in your mind, your heart, your spirit, or body. You are not controlled by a man in any way. Like even in who you are, right? There's majority of women, that have tied their identity or their value of womanhood to a man or a relationship or having a man, right? Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords. It's like this man wants to turn you to who he wants you to be. He wants you to become who he wants you to be. He wants you to lose your own individuality and your own identity and be his. And being his is not like in a relationship. No, being his is like what I do, you do. What I say, where I go, everything. Just everything. It's like this man wants you to be a female version of him, but not not based on love here. Like the woman in which you are. I'm trying to explain how I'm channeling this. You know how in the dating pool, there are these women that uphold themselves with a certain character, where they stand in a certain energy in who they are, right? And then there are men that will look at a woman like that and want to break down their walls just to say they can, because of how this woman's character and how they uphold themselves in their own element of womanhood. You two in your power, and this man craves to break down your walls to prove that he can, and also to prove to you that you are not as in alignment within yourself as you are, right? He wants to hurt you on purpose. He wants to make you lose yourself on purpose, right? He wants to open you up on purpose just to prove to his ego, his desire, just to prove to himself, his mentality, just to feed it. Now imagine all the hard work that you put in within yourself to be the way you are, just for someone to come in and want to change that, not because of anything outside of their own creature animalistic ways. Like this man wants you to love everything about him. Like he wants you to be completely attracted to him, everything about him, his eyes, his nose, his lips, his tongue, his teeth. You must just love every piece of who he is. Don't forget the type of bloodline he comes from, the DNA, the genetics, and who he is in his core of identity. This man will never see himself as equal to a woman, right? Not in a way of like, gender roles or anything like that, but more so like he doesn't see a woman as human. He sees the woman as like a pet, or like when you have a dog and you it's like your pet, and you can say sit or no or things like that. Yeah, there's too much ego, too much insatiability, too much desire, and no love. Literally none, like whatsoever. We have the Knight of Swords. This man is not willing to leave you alone. Like, the way in which he's going about everything, he's not even trying to reflect and address or look at how it's affecting him. It's not just you that is affected, it's him. Like, yeah. It's like this man is affected inside. His mind is affected, his heart is affected, his spirit and his body is affected by everything that he's been holding on to when it comes to this situation and everything that he's been doing. It's like it's taking a toll on this man, constantly thinking about you, constantly wanting you, constantly just wishing and dreaming. It's just hurting him. This ideology he's carrying around with him to turn you into a specific woman just to please his demons. We have the Knight of Wands reversed. Literally, just to please his demons. He wants to turn you upside down and your life included and everyone involved. He doesn't care who he stomps on, who he hurts, how you feel, what you think. He doesn't care. Literally. I just heard, Claudiancally, I just heard, let me unleash my demons on you. That's exactly what this man is trying to do. This man has no shame. If you think he's somewhere at least holding some form of shame in his heart for his ways or who he is, no. Like, this man is very, like, he has no shame at all. We have the Nine of Wands reversed. He doesn't care how you feel, like, at all. There's nothing here like that. The Ace of Cups is reversed. There's no love in this man's heart towards you. It's just pure desire, ego. And just to prove you wrong. Or you think you're working on yourself, you self-love, you self-care, you healing, or you celibate, or you have a bold character within your own womanhood, or you know who you are, or you standing in your power and you standing in your grounding of your own individual identity. No, this man, that pisses him off. That is what triggers these demons. And that's what's driving him actually nuts. This man's crazy. He's insane. Okay? We have the Four of Pentacles. It's like, back to that example, that analogy, that reference point, that case study of the dating pool and how there are women that are very much like women that really know who they are and not willing to settle. And then there's a guy who falls in love with the idea of making a woman like that lose herself. Like, oh, now you don't know who you are anymore, type of energy. Demonic. That's all that this is. Just pure demonic energy. This man wants to hold you captive. He wants to hold you captive in your mind, your heart, your spirit, and body. He wants to take ownership of you entirely, to the extent that you don't know who you are. To the point where you can't even go back to who you used to be. Like, this man just wants to just take over you. We have the Tower reversed to the Three of Wands reversed. It's like this man has like a fetish and a kink to see you crying and on your knees and begging and in pain and, you know, having no self-identity, self-awareness, self-discovery, having no way out of a darkness of depression and misery that he caused and he put you in. This man is the only thing he's falling in love with is the idea of breaking you. We have the Tower reversed, the Three of Wands reversed. That's all that this man wants, to break you. That's what he wants. That's all that he wants. Everything else doesn't matter to him. He doesn't care whether you catch feelings or you want this or you have a, like, this man doesn't give a damn about you, beloved. Like, don't get it twisted. I feel like you're dealing with the satanic Luciferian here, a man whose only purpose is to seek and destroy. And he's in your reality, and you need to be aware of who he is. You can't fall for this. This is a man whom, if you allow him in your heart, if you allow him in your mind, if you allow him in your spirit, if you allow him in your body, he'll literally tear you apart till you have no way of picking up those pieces and putting them together, and you're just broken for life. These be the men that break women completely until there's nothing in them left to break. It's just nothingness, just brokenness remains. And another analogy, another reference point, another case study, an example, someone who is shot in the head. Like, someone who is shot in the head has completely lost their life. There's no bringing them back. Coming back to the generalization of this message, this man is like, there's a bullet with your name on it, and it's not a physical weapon, right? This man has his ways that he's looking to just end your life completely while you're still living. Just feel like nothing. Just be nothing. Just have nothing. Just you are nothing type of energy. That's what this man wants. That's what he wants you to believe. And that's what he wants you to know of yourself. That's how he wants you to feel and think about yourself. That's the energy. This man, the reason there is no love within him is because he is incapable of it. These be the men that don't have any love in themselves. So how are you expecting him to love you? These be the men that don't even know what love is. They just mimic it or learn it from watching how people show love, and then they do it too, but it's not coming from a place of sincerity or genuineness or originality, authenticity, realness. No, it's all just like, oh, this, if this is what it means to show love, this is how I'm gonna do it. But inside, they truly just the devil, Luciferian. It's like this man wants to break you down to the point where you can't even look in the mirror. Imagine that level of brokenness inside anybody. They can't even look at themselves. And that's like, with the hangman being here, this is something he's willing to devote himself to do. Like, this is something he's willing to stay devoted at, right? Breaking you. Like, he's not going anywhere until he's done what he's done. But that's the thing, he has no power in your heart, your mind, your spirit, or body. He can't do that to you. He's just looking for a way to be able to do that to you. He can't do it. He's just looking for a way to be able to do that to you. Back to the fact that he's been trying to figure you out, but he can't. And it's causing him to really go insane. Someone's snapping every day, going crazy somewhere. And their demons. Yeah, we have the Three of Wands reverse, same energy. This man is very persistent. Like, he's very persistent. He feels like you, like, back to, he doesn't perceive a woman as a human being. He thinks women, he's still in that timeline of the type of men that think women are to be treated like nothing. The woman must bow to the man. The woman must do this for the man. The man leads. The man this. Okay, cool, I guess, right? We have the Seven of Wands reversed. Yeah. This man, because he is in that state of being, you constantly rejecting him is just breaking that same ego, that same insatiability, that same desire. It's just breaking it down to nothingness. He's the one experiencing that brokenness within him as you are standing in your womanhood, as you are standing in your power, and you are literally asserting yourself, and you are literally rejecting him. You don't want him, and you don't, and you won't ever, because you see Satan. You see it in him. You see it in his eyes. You see it in the way he talks. You see it in his manner of living and his approach of identity and how he shows up to the world. You're already looking at him and you are well aware that this ain't right. This man ain't right. He isn't. You're being called to keep rejecting this man, keep not wanting this man, keep staying in your body, staying in your heart, staying in your mind when it comes to this situation. This man should never get anything out of you, not at all. We have the Eight of Swords. Back to the fact that if he can't get what he wants out of you and he's done all that he can to get what he wants out of you, he has nothing left but to move on with his life, right? It's like when you resist the devil, he flees, God says. When you resist the devil, he flees, all right? Simply put, all you need to do is stay away from this man. And if he doesn't want to stay away from you, keep rejecting him and not wanting him. No matter what he's trying to do, what he's saying, how he's acting, it has nothing to do with you. Don't let this satanic, Luciferian, demonic spirit of a man take control of your life, and be ruthless about it too. This man ain't shit, okay? Stay in your body, stay in your mind, stay in your heart, and stay in your spirit. Do not allow this man to think he has anything over you. Like, he's nothing. He just thinks he's something he's not. Okay, beloved, this was your message from God, Ra, Allah, Source, the Divine. I'm grateful for your time and I thank you so much for joining me on the Prophetic Vessel Show. To those whom are keen or interested in becoming members of my Patreon, on my Patreon, I do offer weekly sign readings for $10 per month based on love, as well as ancestral lineage readings. I also offer on my Patreon personal readings for $50 per month. You get a personal reading from me every month based on love, spiritual path, career and finances, as well as ancestral messages. I also now offer one-on-one sessions / life coach sessions. Those will be once off and not monthly. You can only book me for those directly via my email, which will be listed in my description box below, as well as the link to my Patreon. If you'd rather join my Patreon instead, you can also join my Patreon by typing what is on the screen via Google, search it, and it'll lead you to my Patreon website. I thank you all for everything, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye.